I think being a CPA gives you a competitive advantage because right from the start, the clients are going to have that instant trust in whatever you're going to tell them. You have instant respect, and I think that gives you a foot in the door when you're looking at potential clients. I think professionally, you see a lot of doors open once you earn your CPA license, especially if you can get it early in your career. I took my exam right after I graduated from college, and starting right out of school as a staff accountant, I think being able to go in and say, yes, I'm a staff accountant and I may be green just out of school, but hey, I've passed my CPA exam and I'm on my way to becoming a CPA. And I think it just can accelerate your career path. I do feel like CPAs have a responsibility to give back to the community. The P in CPA stands for public. I'm sure a lot of people recognize that, and so it's a service profession, and it's about helping the community, serving the public good. And so when you can get involved with your community as a CPA, there's lots of people out there who are intimidated by finances or who just don't know a lot about it. So anytime you can say, hey, I'm a CPA and want to get involved in an organization, you're going to have tons of people who are willing to accept your help because they recognize that what the CPA can bring to the table. When I graduated from college, just as with a regular accounting degree, you start off as a staff accountant, not making hardly anything at all. But if you can be committed to studying for the exam, becoming a CPA, you see studies all the time about the difference between somebody, what their lifetime earnings capacity is for a graduate from college versus just a high school graduate. I think that if people did studies of CPAs versus accountants with just accounting degrees without that license, that you would see a similar disparity, that the earlier you can get it, the faster you're going to rise in whatever path you choose to take, especially in the public practice part of the practice, because at some point in the public practice, you are not going to be able to advance anymore unless you do have your certification. So having that will just help you, like I said, move up the career ladder faster. A best professional moment as a CPA, if it doesn't have to be necessarily work related, I would say would be becoming president of the Southeast Texas chapter of the TSCPA. I think that I've gotten a lot of personal fulfillment out of that, and it's all stemming from my being a CPA, being able to interact and network with others in my profession, other CPAs, and knowing that I have that respect of my peers to where I was elected into that position and being able to lead the chapter for this year. Becoming a CPA is not the easiest thing to do. Everybody knows the challenges of the CPA exam, but it's definitely worth the challenge. You get the personal fulfillment just of knowing that you have achieved something that not everybody can achieve. They make the exam hard because it's not meant to let everybody in. You have to work for it, and I think if you're willing to commit to working for it, as soon as you get out of college, then again, you're going to be so much ahead of where others around you may be. Right now, I am shareholder in a public practice firm, and if you had asked me where I was going to be 10 years ago, I would have said I want to be shareholder of an accounting firm because I just felt like that was where I wanted to go and be. Now that I've achieved that, I think it's just continuing to excel in the profession, remaining involved with the TSCPA and other professional organizations, and I've also used my CPA certification to kind of get into other areas as well, such as the financial planning aspect that a lot of public practice firms are now including. So I think I see myself moving less out of the traditional tax and accounting area of practice and more towards financial planning, but still when I'm providing that comprehensive financial advice to clients, having that CPA certification is still so important, because when they're coming to me for financial advice, again, it's that trust and that respect that you have from the get-go when you have the CPA after your name. In our public practice firm that we have, we see the majority of the graduates coming out of our local university being female. And so when we're interviewing for new staff accountants positions, there's a lot of females. I know there has been concerns in the past with the profession about women not being able to advance, not being able to do the hours that everybody thought you had to put in during tax season because, you know, they were supposed to be at home taking care of the kids. But I became the first female shareholder at Edgar Cocker & Cross a couple years ago, and we actually just admitted another female shareholder. So we actually have 2 of our 5 shareholders at our firm are female. And the one we just admitted in 2009, I believe, she's an older female who came back to school after she had had her children. And you know, she started back to work, she worked her way up, and I don't see the glass ceiling that I know that others have experienced in the past. And I think that new graduates coming out of college now should not be concerned about there being a glass ceiling. I think that if they become certified, they put in the hard work, they stay committed to advancing, then the opportunities are there if they're willing to work for it. The public practice firms now, I think, are recognizing that the whole traditional old school way of accounting where you work yourself to death during tax season, you know, we have one of the shareholders at our firm who says, you know, their kids were born during tax season and they weren't there. They, you know, sent the secretary to take the wife to the hospital. And it's kind of crazy hearing that now, but that's the way things were. And now you don't see anything like that. You know, the push is for a work-life balance for everybody, and not just females, but, you know, everybody coming into the profession, because they recognize that families are suffering from having to work that many hours. And so they're becoming less stringent on how many hours you have to work, giving you more flexibility in how you can get the hours that you do need to work in, whether it's working at home. You know, with the technology that they have now, lots of firms are able to set it up so that you can work from your home but access the network at the office. And so whether you're a female trying to work around a kid's school schedule or anybody in the profession, there's a lot more flexibility and more focus on a healthy work-life balance. I think that, you know, a lot of times people think accountants are boring, and, you know, all the jokes are out there about us being counters. But, you know, really accounting is an exciting profession, and, you know, whether you go into public practice or industry, you are in the role of being able to make decisions. And, you know, speaking from a public practice point of view, you have lots of business owner clients who are dependent on you to give them advice to help them run their business. And so you have so many opportunities to really affect what's going on in your community by helping these businesses survive, being a key player in the business community that you serve. You need to have the basics, but that isn't what you're going to do. I mean, if you want to do that, you don't need to be a CPA. You know, you can go get your 2-year bookkeeping degree. You know, it's the stepping stone for you know, a world of possibilities. You know, it's not just doing bookkeeping. It's giving people advice on how to run their businesses, and being able to use that to go into all kinds of different professions. You know, like I've used mine to go into financial planning. I mean, I don't do journal entries, but I mean, that's the basic building block of where I am now.